sometimes you cut your hair real short and you get this, and you're trying to grow it out, but then it's in this in-between stage. It feels symbolic for your life. Hello, lovely peoples. I am Michelle. This is my hospital bed of Vita, and you're watching Once Was Left Rebel Wheels NYC. Rebel Wheels NYC. And as a person who is mostly bedbound, one question I get asked a lot is, do you think you'll always be mostly bedbound? Well, I don't really like when people ask me this question, because they're asking it like, do you think you'll always be mostly bedbound? Because right now, this current thing is like being mostly bedbound is not really like a life. It's very tragic and it's sad, and oh, I have so much pity for you. Do you think you'll ever, have a life again and not able to bedbound? That's what people are really fucking saying when they ask me that question. Pity is not compassion. Can we just repeat that for the people in the back? Pity is not compassion. Of course, I'm speaking for myself. There are times where I legitimately do not mind being mostly bedbound. And I know a lot of people are like, how is that possible? Because being mostly bedbound is so tragic. And the reason is this. In my experience, and as a person who has proper, mostly bedbound accommodations, I have a comfortable, for the most part, hospital bed. I have a hospital table where I have my laptop, how I'm talking to you, and therefore I have the internet, and I have Netflix, and I have video games, because I'm a nerd, and represent, and I can make art on a good day, and what happens is, I find a groove, and it's a satisfying groove, and it's a fulfilling groove. And I don't mind being mostly bedbound. Plus, there are times when my body has no energy other than to be mostly bedbound. Like, it has no interest or desire in being upright, because I'm just so lacking of the spoons that it's happy that it's in bed because it's comfortable and getting the rest and healing time that it needs. The only time I mind being mostly bedbound is when I do have a bit more energy, and I know that my body wants to go out and do things, and it could have the energy to do that, but we lack the proper accommodations. That's when I started to get restless. Also, when there's a huge protest, and I'm like, so there's times like that. Also, I think sometimes I will get a twinge of, I don't know, sadness or nostalgia is the right word, but for an example, I have a view of some pine trees and then the other apartment building across from me, because New York City, hi. But then I don't really have a view of foliage or whatnot, and so I kind of forget that things like foliage exist until someone posts a photo of it on social media, or I forget Washington Park exists, and then a jazz band plays there, to see the video of that on the internet. And I go, oh yeah, I used to love seeing that jazz band in Washington Square Park. So then I get a little but for the most part, I have the groove. The only time the groove is disrupted is when I actually have to go out to an emergency or urgent doctor appointment. It really knocks me out. And I don't enjoy, I was like, oh, don't you enjoy going out? No, I don't enjoy going out, because I have a wheelchair that I'm going out in. It's a motorized wheelchair. It's an older wheelchair. It does not support my body. So a lot of times, within a very short period of time, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm having spasms. And because it causes back spasms, it aggravates my dysphagia. I'm very out of breath, and I go from mostly bedbound to pretty much bedbound. So lately I've been going to NYU because I've been trying to get a proper wheelchair. There is this question of, can I get a proper wheelchair? Or will I always be mostly bedbound? And I can tell you that this question and the act of going outside, that has fucked with my groove on a pretty huge level. It's not something I talk about, because I feel like whenever I talk about the mostly bedbound experience, I feel I have to be like, it's not tragic, but it's also not my first choice. And it is, that can be that at the same time. Those are two things at the same time. It's not less than, it's not tragic, it's not inferior, but it's not what I had planned, and it's not my first choice, no. But it can be, if with proper combinations, you can have a fulfilling and satisfying life. Knowing that there's times where I could go out, but it's the system that's holding me back, That's hard, and that's really, really frustrating. I wish people would just ask about my day. There are some days where I am quite active. I have a number of creative projects going on, like writing and photography and poetry and art and, making these videos. And I'm also finding my footing and my groove in mostly bedbound activism, how to be an effective activist. And I'm creating change. And there are some days where I can't do anything but just lay there. But what I would like for people is to ask me questions, take interest, but don't, just because I'm doing these things in a hospital bed, be like, oh, that's so tragic and brave. That is not kindness. What do you think, especially if you're mostly bedbound? Leave your comments in the comment section. That's where they belong. As always, be good to yourself, be kind to yourself. Thanks for watching this video. Bye.